Is funding always super cool? Not really. All startups are running after funding, but funding has a lot of dark sides. So here are the dark sides of actually getting funded. Please understand, जब भी आप फंडिंग में जाते हो तो आप इन्वेस्टर्स को एक बहुत ही रोजी पिक्चर दिखाते हो. आप बोलते हो हम ये कर देंगे, हम ये कर देंगे, हम डिसरप्शन लाएंगे, हमने ये तोड़फोड़ मचा रखे. You always end up overstating things. But investors are also smart people. They will give you a term sheet. They will actually make you commit to those investment terms. They would always make you commit to those, targets. And that's exactly how this goes. But when reality happens, these targets become very difficult. A lot of people then resort to incorrect means, unfair means, deliberate reckless spendings, incorrect use of money. And all of that results into bad target achievements. It typically results into bad money utilization. So this is a very classic problem. You would realize, for example, you probably end up committing to a startup investor that you will say you will reach X turnover and you will increase your turnover by 3X. To achieve that turnover results, you will invariably go reckless marketing. You will hire a lot of people. You'll go around spending that money. You'll probably get that turnover, but the base behind it, the core behind it, the operations behind this would start falling down. We have seen multiple startups going through this. Problem number two, as statistics go, you'll be surprised, but India does not have 110 unicorns now. The number has reduced down to something like 75 right now. Why? Because the valuations have gone down. The next round of funding does not happen. And most of them overvalued themselves at some point or the other. So while it may be sounding very fancy to be called a unicorn at some point of time, it is not always about funding. It is actually about the business core, business financial correct methodologies, business financial plans, correct financial mechanisms, correct returns, financial sustainability. And unless you have all of these, you will not be making a fair decision. I personally know a couple of startups who actually raised a lot of money. They became a unicorn very fast. And then they realize that the money is just lying vacant. They're not able to invest the money properly. They're not able to utilize the funds in the right direction. The revenues are not growing in the right direction. And if the revenues are not growing, the funds are not, being utilized, your valuation comes down. And this can also happen that sometimes there are companies like Byju's which actually start getting losing its directors, start losing its investors. A lot of companies like this are constantly happening. So these are very precarious dark sides of funding. There's a third dark side. And the third dark side is the moment you take an investor on board, there are some times when you probably start realizing that the investors and the founders are not able to agree to a lot of terms. And these investors will invariably take a board seat. They will actually have a dictatorial position in the decision making of the company. We have seen fights happening between, housing.com, classic story. We keep hearing about Ashneer Grover and Bharat Pay, keep on fighting about the whole business. So these are issues which can happen because the investors would have a different mindset, the founder would have a different mindset, and those investors would push their ideas to the startup to do it in a particular way, and they are the ones who hold the majority. So you can't really fight with them. So if their vision is not right, if their ideologies are not making sense to you as a startup founder, this can literally result in a very bad situation. The last problem that can happen with startup funding is that startup funding sometimes startups are not able to get the exit after one round. So let's say, for example, you raise money, everything is going right, you went through the entire process, you fulfilled it, but the next round of funding is not available. So the next round of funding, if you don't have an exit plan, that also becomes a big issue, and then you stagnate. So that part and that time where you are not able to make the next exit, and if you do not have a sustainability plan, if you have not planned what would you do if you're not able to raise the next round, the plans are not there. So you have to also be very careful that while you are raising money, you should also have a backup plan. You should always think about a bridge round. You should always think about a mezzanine solution. And those are important 5 sides before you get down to funding.